local history, local culture, local events, your community. This is the Joe Kelly Show.
Hi there, everybody. Welcome to the show. Dennis Webster is our guest. Dennis is a very prolific local author, and we're going to be talking to him about some of his books, including a book on Old Main that's going to have a new life. We'll tell you all about that. But first, we're going to say to Dennis, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, as we do this social distancing, I know it's a little awkward, but we'll get through it. Dennis, you've done a lot of books. How many?
My 13th will be coming out next year.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
a load of work. What is the most popular in terms of sales book of those 12 that you've done so far?
I would say the Old Main book.
Okay. That was the segue I was looking for. The Old Main book, which came out in what year?
It came out 4 years ago.
And I'm going to hold that up.
Yeah.
There it is, by Dennis Webster, Old Main. And this is going to get a new life, yes?
Yes, because I self-published that particular copy, that iteration, and just sold it locally printed. But I ran out of copies, and instead of pulling a massive amount of money out of my pocket to reprint it, I shopped it around to publishers and was able to get the History Press to agree to publish it.
And they're going to be giving you the ability to make some additions, Dennis?
Yeah, I can open it up. I'm going to actually add some more photos. I'm going through the state archives now to add some more interesting photos of Old Main, and I can add content to it. I'd like to get a forward for the book. I got some people I want to approach for that, and then some testimonials from perhaps former employees.
And if somebody wants to do that, if they're a former employee or know of a former employee and want to contact you, how best could they do that, Dennis?
Best way would be on email, and that would be denniswebster@gmail.com.
Okay, so your name at Gmail.
Yes.
Okay. The edition, the new version of the book is coming out. When do you think, Dennis?
I have to have it to the publisher by November, so it'll be out in the springtime. So then I'll be looking to do appearances and book signings and whatnot. It is a big deal because it gives the book in Utica national distribution, not just local here.
When the book is ready in the spring, give us a call. We'll have you come in and you can talk about where you're going to be appearing.
Oh, thank you, Joe. I would love that.
Yeah. What do you think is I remember when New York State opened the doors to Old Main a few years ago to allow people to come in. And I knew that they'd get a good turnout for that, but I had no idea they'd get the turnout they did. I mean, the line to get in there stretched through the campus.
Yeah, I heard 3,000 people showed up for that, and they were only able to get about 1,000 people through there.
Yeah. Well, what's the allure?
I think because it's the mother of all institutions. It was the first one in the United States to offer moral treatment. The look of it, the Greek Doric columns that are in the front, they're the largest freestanding Greek Doric columns in the United States. So it was part of the whole utopian of care that they were looking to do. It was the appearance and the look of it. So I think it just draws people in because it's just so beautiful.
What kind of shape is the building in today, Dennis?
Some parts of it are in pretty good shape. Other parts are being worked on, and some parts are very decrepit. That's why in the tour, they only brought people in through like the first floor. They brought you in and around and then back out. And people were like, geez, I wanted to get down all the wings and down in the catacombs. Unsafe. Because a lot of it is they're doing asbestos abatement in there, and some other parts are just not safe for people to walk around.
I took one of the tours, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to get down in the cellar, and I wanted to get out into some of the wings, and that was not possible. What's down in the cellar, Dennis?
Well, originally there was areas where they would house people back in the original days. There's patient rooms down there. I've heard people talk about they've seen chains down there, but the only thing is, in my book, I put that I have no proof that they ever chained anybody up in there because I have to have it in writing, as you know, as an author. So what the original intent of that place was Dr. Brigham wanted no chains. So that's why he invented the Utica crib.
You know, talk about the Utica crib. That was famous.
Oh yeah, world famous. Dr. Brigham invented it right here. It was a way to restrain somebody who had panic and mania without chaining them. It was like basically like an adult-sized baby crib with a lid on it. So they would lay you flat in it, and you couldn't roll over and you couldn't sit up. By 1870s, they declared that it was inhumane and they eliminated it. But for a while, it was a very popular device. It's easy in our day and age to look at that and say, "Oh, that was medieval. Oh, that was torturous." But at the time, that was the most humane way that they could restrain a person.
What it replaced was a lot worse than that. Where do you have any idea in the building where the Utica crib would have been?
They would have kept them down in the basement in some of those rooms and certain areas of the first floor. I know that they tended to have the more the people that were most severe mental illness closer to the middle, because that's where the administration was and the offices. And then one wing was women, one wing was men. And then as they moved out away from the head office, you had the least amount of mental disabilities.
They were a big employer in the area.
Oh, it was massive. I mean, that place was, it was very interesting because originally all the patrons in, I forget the name, it was nurses' aides is what you would call it today, the nurses, male and female nurses. They would sign a one-year contract and they'd actually live in that building with the patients. They would do a one-year contract.
And that campus, still today, that campus is pretty big. A lot of outbuildings, and at one time they had a farm going there, did they not?
Yeah, the farm was part of the moral treatment, which was to give people occupations and jobs, not just, sitting around. They would give them something to do. That was part of the moral treatment and mental care. And the farm was out pretty much where the campus of Utica College is now.
What did they grow up there, Dennis?
Oh, they grew stuff that they would eat right on the table in Old Main. They would grow corn and tomatoes and all the stuff that you would grow in this area in your backyard or any small farm, but it was on a larger scale. Mm-hmm. So they would actually use that food on their table and prepare it themselves.
Dennis, you've done very well with all your books, except one. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk about that one.
Yeah.
We're going to take a short break here. We'll be right back. Dennis Webster is our guest.